Hey, what's up YouTube? King James here. I'm back with the TEC9 video that I promised after doing my EM2 video. So if you haven't watched the EM2 video, it was just released, go ahead and check it out. But the TEC9 is the new SMG on the block. And let's be honest, SMGs have made a real big comeback as ARs have, and they're a lot more viable than what they used to be when, everything was just, the FFAR. So there's a lot of really good SMGs on the block, and I've got the TEC9, and I think it's pretty good, and I want you to check it out. It's got pretty good time to kill, it's got great mobility, and it's fun to use. So if you haven't gotten it out and tried it yet, you should. And I got a good loadout for you right now. So first, let's have a look at the time to kill. And the TEC9 falls nicely around all of the other sort of short range, high mobility SMGs. It has pretty good time to kill in the first 14 meters, and it lands under 600 milliseconds, which is really where you want to be with an SMG to be able to beat an AR up close. And all of these do that, and it's just as good as the Cold War MP5, yet it goes out a little further before it hits its next damage drop off up here. But they're all pretty tight, and they're pretty tight here. So to be honest, it's really well positioned in, the range of all the other SMGs. So I don't think it's going to see a nerf that's going to change it. It's pretty tight in there, and it's not really a major outlier like some of the guns used to be, like the Milano, how they recently nerfed it. So definitely want to check this out. And if you're looking for a change on an SMG, it's a good one to use. I've really enjoyed using it. And there's a few things you need to know, because it says it's semi-auto, but the muzzles can make it not semi-auto. So I'll show you that in my build in a second. But let me show you a little gameplay so you can see how well it works up close. So when I first started trying to use the gun, to be honest, I found it right here as floor loot when I first jumped in, and I grabbed this gold one, and I noticed that fast time to kill right up front. Those were just chest shots, and you can see how quickly it got him down. And then his buddy rushed in here right when I was caught plating, and I still managed to jump around the corner here and be able to blast him. And then I think one more guy came in, and I still managed to take him out as well. So it definitely has a really good time to kill. So I went back and made my own version of it with the Microflex LED, and it worked really well. But to be honest, you look here, see the iron sights on it? It's got really nice iron sights. So I actually didn't find that I needed the Microflex LED eventually, and the iron sights were pretty good. So I went with that because it's nice and clean. It's got that really fast time to kill, and it gives me an extra attachment that I think that I wanted versus the Microflex. I didn't really want that, attachment being used up for, a mobility attachment. But I will tell you one thing. You come in around a corner, look at this, a quick 180 jump in there, and boom, blast this guy down. So the mobility is high, the time to kill is high, and it's a pretty fun gun to use. And I started making some stupid plays, like climbing up stairs like this is generally a death sentence, and I still managed to get the down. So that's one thing, is up close, this thing's a monster, and it really hits hard. So right here, I think this is the end of a game. Jump down, blast this guy. Had lots of confidence using this gun to be able to get kills and win rounds with it. I didn't feel like I needed to carry an AR. So I jumped into Plunder just to have a look at the recoil, and predictably, it's got a lot of recoil like most SMGs do, a lot of vertical, a whole bunch of horizontal, and when you're shooting, you have to sort of work to keep it in control. But thankfully, it's just vertical, and it's just pretty steady. So getting a shot like this and a whole bunch in the center that are going to be mostly head and chest, at 15 meters away, it's pretty easy. So I went a little closer. This is probably about 6 meters, and did a bit more of a controlled shot. And you can see right here how much more, controlled it is there versus, over here where it was a lot farther spread. So if you work on it, learn the recoil pattern, which is just vertical with a little bit of horizontal, it's actually pretty easy to control. You just pull down and move left and right a little bit. So the recoil on it is not bad. So as I said, I've been carrying the TEC9 with the EM2, and it's a really good pairing. I always like trying the new guns because generally they come out and they're super OP. I think the EM2 is a little OP right now, and it might get a slight nerf, although they said everything seems to be okay. So we'll see whether that happens or not. But the TEC9, I doubt it's going to happen. It's in a good place. So if you're worried about, unlocking gun and leveling it up and then getting a nerfed, I don't think that's going to happen with this one, because as you saw in the time to kill charts, it's not overly, has a really fast time to kill like sometimes new guns come out. So it definitely works. So let me show you my loadout. But just before I get into that, I want to say thank you to everybody who's recently subbed to the channel and is here watching my videos. I really appreciate all the love and support. So thank you guys. Really and truly thank you. And if you haven't subbed to the channel, consider subscribing, because it really does help small content creators like myself. All right, let me show you a quick bit about the semi-auto. So when you're picking the gun, it actually says semi-auto, and I was a little confused here because I pick up floor loot and it's automatic. But let me show you why. So when you first unlock the gun, it is semi-auto. It's just single fire. But as you level it up, you're going to eventually unlock the burst, which really helped. That made it a lot easier. And then finally, I think it was level 42, you get the full auto repeater. Don't quote me on the 42 or 46. It's pretty far in. But anyway, you get the full auto repeater. But the full auto repeater makes it fully automatic. It gives you position concealment, which isn't quite a suppressor, but it does keep you off the mini-map. It just takes a little longer. And it gives you sprint to fire, which is sort of odd for a muzzle, but it's really nice to get more sprint to fire time because that's one thing you definitely want. Now for a barrel, I'm running the 4.9 Task Force. So Task Force seems to be the best barrel in SMGs right now because it gives you effective damage range, bullet velocity, which is great, and strafe speed. So that's movement speed when you're moving back and forth when you're fighting. Now it does have negatives on horizontal and vertical, but to be honest, at the ranges I'm using this gun at, it doesn't seem to be a problem because it's got lots of recoil, but it's easy to manage. Now for mobility, because I really like mobility, especially if I'm carrying this with a sniper or a heavy SMG, or heavy AR or an LMG, the Tiger Team Spotlight, because it gives you a whole bunch of movement speed and aim walking movement speed. And for even more movement, again, the Raider stock, right? Get that extra ADS, aim walking, and sprint to fire time. So it's all about movement speed. Now, for ammunition, I'm sort of breaking my normal thing of I normally go with the first to not impact ADS time, but I really want the 48 bullets on this because I think it really helps. So aim down sight time is a slight negative and reload quickness, but I don't find that that impacts me at all because the ADS speed on this gun is really fast anyway. So I've been running that. Now, if you really like to run the optics and you want to run the Microflex LED, you can trade off. I'd probably trade off the Raider stock because it has a little less mobility bonus than the Tiger Team does. So I'd probably add the optic and remove the Raider stock. Now I know some guys are talking about the fast mags. I haven't tried the fast mag with this. It does also have a negative on ADS, but it doesn't seem to be anything else. And I don't know if the reload speed is faster or not. So if you've tested that and noticed that it's faster, hit me up in the comment section down below. Maybe I'll try. But to be honest, I don't see a lot of guys running this on this build. So maybe that's why. Anyways, guys, give me your thoughts in the comment section down below. I've been using this for a while and it's been really successful. The SMG meta is still here. I think they're really popular, and heck, I'm even using them when I'm using snipers. That's how confident I am with them because some of them have pretty good distance, just like this. So one thing that you can definitely do with SMGs these days is carry them almost like an AR. They tend to work almost as good, although Milano was recently nerfed because it was super OP. So, you know, still really good, but was recently nerfed as well. Anyways, I'm going to have some more videos this week. I'm going to cover the Krig again because I think it's deserves to get recovered because it's super popular, and that's basically it for me. So if you don't see me in Warzone, if you don't see me in multiplayer, it's only a matter of time, baby. King James out.